Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are looking at Unit 2, Lesson number 9. Today we're going to be talking about equations, tables, and graphs, and this lesson will pick up directly where Lesson number 8 left off. So we're going to be starting by going over that last page from Lesson 8, and then we are going to move on. Alright, so our learning goal here is that a linear relation can be represented using an equation, a table, and a graph. Our success criteria is to describe linear relations using equations, tables, and graphs. And that means that you're going to be given information and you will either need to develop an equation, put the information into a table, or make a graph. The worksheet, the Activity 9 Outfitters Part 2, Equations, Tables, and Graphs, is linked directly in the lesson. Okay, and it's what we're going to be using for our note. Notice, when you finish all of the work for today, we have a drop box in this lesson. This means you will need to either upload your Notability file or take a picture of the work you've done on a piece of paper, and you will put it into that drop box. So to begin, we are looking at the questions 5, 6, and 7 that started in Lesson 8. Okay, I had asked in Lesson 8 that you give these a shot, recognizing that you may not be able to do them, but I wanted you to try them before starting. Okay, so in order to do this, we need to also have our information from Lesson 8. So if you don't have that page, I suggest that right now you pause this video and that you get the information that we had from the previous lesson. You will need the Outfitters Part 1 Partial and Direct Variation worksheet. Alright, so we are resuming after getting that worksheet out, and we look at question 5, which asks for us to write an equation to model the cost of each outfitter. We're given some information here. We're going to use the letter C to represent the cost in dollars. We're going to use the letter H to represent the time in hours. Okay? And we need to look at our previous sheet to get this information. Well, for Big Pine, our sheet says that Big Pine Outfitters charges a base fee of $40 and $10 per hour of use. Okay, and so I've just put down our base fee of $40 and $10 per hour of use so that we have it on our screen. So we're looking to make an equation that shows the cost. Okay, and we need to represent the hours using the letter H. Well, we're told that we have $10 for every, oh, wrong color. $10 for every hour of use, and we also have this base fee of $40. Okay, so for this equation, we're going to need to show both pieces of information. We start with our cost being our $40 that we have to pay, and we have to pay an additional $10 for every hour. So there we have our equation. All right, but you may have put it the other way. Some of you might have written, you pay $10 for every hour, and you have to pay $40 as the base fee. It doesn't matter what order you wrote it in. What matters is that your $10 is multiplied by the number of hours, and that your $40 is by itself as the base fee. We will now do the same thing for Hemlock Bluff. So again, for Hemlock Bluff, need our highlighter. For Hemlock Bluff, we will look at the Outfitters Part 1 Partial and Direct Variation sheet, where it says, Hemlock Bluff Adventure Stores does not charge a base fee, but charges $30 per hour to use the canoe. And so I've put down here that there is no base fee, but that we do charge $30 per hour. Okay? So, in this case, we have $30 for every hour, and we have no base fee. When we have plus 0 or plus no base fee, it's not really good form, so we're going to actually just leave it completely blank and say that this equation is only 30 hours. So there we have our equations for both of our Outfitter stores. For Big Pine, we have the cost equals 10 multiplied by the number of hours plus $40. And for Hemlock Bluff, we have the cost is equal to $30 times the number of hours. Question 6. If Big Pine Outfitters decided to change its base fee to $50 and charges $10 per hour, what effect would this have on the graph? Question A asks us to draw a sketch of the original cost and show the changes on the same sketch. So we don't have that graph sheet here. What you should be doing is going back to your original worksheet, but I'm going to put a rough sketch on the board. And so when we graph this, we should see that our new graph should have the same rate of change as the original, but the original graph started at 40, and the new graph is going to start up at 50, because that base fee was raised from $40 up to $50. Question B asks for us to write an equation to model the new cost. Well, our cost is equal to Big Pine's hourly fee of $10 for every hour, but as we see in the question, we are changing the base fee to $50. So, we are going to add $50. Notice the change. Before, we added 40. Now, we add 50 because the initial value was changed from $40 to $50. Question 7. If Hemlock Bluff Adventure Store decided to change its hourly rate to $40, what effect would that have on the graph? Well, we before used an hourly rate of $30. Now we're going to have an hourly rate of $40. Question A asks for us to again sketch the graph. So, if we had our original graph going up by $30 an hour, our new graph is going to go up by $40 an hour, so it's going to go up by more money each time. Okay, and you should be plotting this on your actual graph. I'm just showing you rough sketches to show you the general idea that you should see. But we should see that both of them have the same initial value of $0 and that the rate of change is different. The rate of change of the original graph is 30 over 1, and the rate of change for the new graph is 40 over 1 because we're charging $30 for every 1 hour in the original graph, and we're charging $40 for every 1 hour in the new graph. We're also asked to make an equation. So, the original equation was shown up here, C equals $30 per hour. Well, our cost is now taken from our changed hourly rate to $40 for every hour. Okay, for our last page, we have questions 8 and 9. Let's take a look at question 8. For Big Pine Outfitters, how are the pattern in the table of values, the description, the graph, and the equation related? So we see here that we have all of this information. We are given our description, our table of values, our graph, and our equation. And we are asked, how are they related? Meaning, what is similar about each of them? So let's look at our description first. Big Pine Outfitters charges a base fee of $40 to deliver the canoe to the launch site and $10 per hour of use. Well, we see that base fee of $40 on our graph as our initial value. And we see that again in our equation over here as our initial value. So, the initial value is where you start on the graph and the number without any variables, or the number with no letters, in the equation. We again see the initial value in the table of values when time is 0. So our initial value, or our base fee, can be seen in the description as our base fee, in the table of values as our cost at a time of 0 hours, in our graph as the starting point, and in our equation as the number without any letters attached to it. That is our initial value. So now that we've looked at our initial value, we're going to also look at another feature. So going back to the question, we dealt with our base fee of $40. But Big Pine Outfitters charges a base fee of $40 to deliver the canoe to the launch site and $10 per hour of use. So we need to now look at where this $10 per hour of use comes in. Well, it's given to us in the description, and we know that that is $10 per hour in the equation. We need to figure out, what does that $10 per hour of use do in the table of values and in the graph? Let's start with the table of values. Thinking back to previous lessons, we used our first differences off of a table. To get your first differences, we took the lowest value on a table and subtracted the value right above it. So 80 minus 70. That gave us an answer of 10. We'll try it again for 70 minus 60. And that's also going to give us an answer of 10. We'll do the same for 60 minus 50 and 50 minus 40. In both cases, that's going to give us 10. Now I'm running out of room on my board, so I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to put it back up in a way that's a little easier for everyone to see. Alright, so I had to adjust the zoom there, so it might look a little off from before, but we can now see our first differences. We took 80 minus 70 to get 10. We took 70 minus 60 to get 10. We took 60 minus 50 to get 10, and we took 50 minus 40 to get 10. Remember that whenever you take your first differences, you start with the bottom number, and then you move up to the next number. So we did 80 minus 70, okay? You then use the next two numbers. So we used 70 and 60. And you'll continue doing that pattern. Notice, it gave us 10 for all of our answers. Last of all, we need to see how $10 per hour applies to our graph. So looking at our graph, we can see that at 0 hours we have a cost of $40. At 1 hour we have a cost of $50. At 2 hours a cost of $60. At 3 hours a cost of $70. And at 4 hours a cost of $80. Well, we looked at rate of change on graphs before, so let's try that. We're going to go all the way over and all the way up to get our rise and our run. Here we're going from 40 up to 80. So that means that our rise is $40. We're also going from 0 hours over to 4 hours, from 0 hours all the way to 4 hours. So that means that our run is 4 hours. Well, if our rate of change is rise over run, we can determine the rate of change for this question. I'm going to start by clearing the board just so that I have room to write. So our rate of change is the rise over the run. In this case, that was $40 over 4 hours. 40 divided by 4, that gives us $10 for every 1 hour. So we see that our rate of change is the same as 10h in our equation, which is the same as our first differences and the same as our cost per hour. This means that our base fee is our initial value, our cost at 0 hours, and the starting point of our graph, and that our cost per hour is our first difference, our rate of change, and the amount multiplied by h in our equation. Now it's your turn. Your work for today is to complete question number 9, explaining how the description, the table of values, the equation, and the graph are related, just like we did in question 8. So you're doing the exact same work, but you're doing it with the other Outfitter store, with Hemlock Bluff Adventure Store. Okay? Once you've completed that, you're going to upload your work for question 9 to the Dropbox. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. And other than that, have a good day, everyone. Bye for now.